Welcome. What would you like to buy today?
Wir möchten hier jemanden fragen.
Sorry to interrupt. We're actually members of the, Liuwe Anglers Association, and we just wanted to ask a few questions about someone. We've heard about this young man called Juri, who's supposed to be a fantastic fisherman. Just wondering if you happen to have heard of him?
Whoa! Yeon made up a whole fake identity. Without batting an eyelid.
Ich fand für das, dass er so gut ist, hat sie ein bisschen lang gezögert, bis die Angler gestellt hat.
Ah, yes, Juri. He's been making quite a name for himself recently. I've got some friends who travel all over the place, and they tell me everywhere they go they meet someone who's heard of him. Apparently, he had a rather tough time growing up. Had to work several jobs alongside his studies to make ends meet.
Ich muss ja mittlerweile zugeben, dass das ein bisschen komisch erscheint, dass der überall bekannt ist und überall weiß halt jeder, oh, der war mal arm.
How does that saying go? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, if there's anything to that logic, he's sure to be phenomenally successful one day.
Yeah, we think so too.
But I'm afraid your Anglers Association might be in for a disappointment.
Oh? Why's that?
He's good at a lot of things, but fishing isn't one of them. He fishes at the wharf and sells what he catches to me on occasion. His catches are always mediocre. Not terrible, but equally nothing to write home about. If you're looking to recruit some new members, though, I do know a few top anglers I could put you in touch with.
That sounds fantastic. I've got a couple of other things to attend to right now, though, so why don't I come back some other time and we can chat over a drink?
Sure thing. See you.
Everywhere they go, they meet someone who's heard of him. Come on, let's keep asking around.
Es wirkt so, wie wenn er das alles absichtlich macht, ne? Sich berühmt machen. Soll ich mit dem reden? Oh. Wow.
Here to buy some fish? It's 300 for one or 3 for 1,000. You better hurry. When they're gone, they're gone.
Hello, we're from the Society for Fish Price Research. We'd just like to ask a few questions.
Wow, she switched identity again.
Society for Fish Price Research? I haven't done anything illegal. Stay out of my business.
Please, don't worry. We're just here to conduct a simple survey. We've heard about a certain Juri who's been selling fresh fish at low prices in this area recently. Do you know anything about this?
So this isn't about me. You should have said something, you know. I know the guy. I can tell you what I know. I haven't heard anything about him selling fresh fish at low prices, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was him.
Oh? Why is that?
Because he's so poor. His parents died when he was very young, and his alcoholic father still owed a huge amount of debt. No one wanted anything to do with him. He was still a kid when he first came to the wharf. His clothes were ragged, and he had a bandage wrapped around his head. And he managed to survive, thanks to Uncle Tien, who gave him some food. But still to this day, he doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. I mean, he can afford to eat and everything, but you'll often see him haggling with others over just a few mora. So, I wouldn't be surprised to find out he's been selling a few fish. It's not like he catches much anyway, so it's not going to affect my business. Don't tell him I said that.
You'd rather he didn't know?
Well, I spoke to him once, briefly, and I just had a feeling that he really cares what other people think of him. I think he has pretty low self-esteem, but hey, it's hardly my place to say anything. What he's achieved already puts most people to shame. And nobody's perfect. I just wouldn't want to upset him, that's all.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Not a problem. And just for the record, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the price of my fish.
The more times you say it, the less convincing it becomes.
Doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay, also es ist halt schon wirklich so, wie ich gesagt habe. Weil irgendwie weiß der Nächste plötzlich, Oh ja, sein Vater war Alkoholiker. Erst war es nur, seine Eltern sind früh gestorben und dann keiner wollte was mit ihm zu tun haben. Wer ist zur Hölle ist Dungo Schuh?
Hey, it's you guys. Wait, what's the phrase? Oh yeah, honored to meet you.
Ich überlege noch gerade, wer du bist. War das das Kind, mit dem wir mal geredet haben? War das nicht mit einem Schwert oder so? Ihn trainieren? War das irgend sowas? Ich habe keine Ahnung mehr. Als ob ich mir jedes kleine dämliche Kind hier merke.
What brings you to me?
Fanden die schon alle gleich aus.
The truth is, we are but newcomers to this territory. We heard tell of a great martial artist, Master Dugu, who knows everything there is to know. Hence, we sought you out to ask for your guidance.
Really? People said I know everything there is to know?
But of course, we also heard that Master Dugu is a kind and virtuous swordsman who never turns away anyone who comes with questions.
Wow, wie sie das Kind halt voll anlügt.
Great. So what do you wish to know? Nothing happens on this street that I don't know about.
Now she's lying to a kid.
Betrachtest das als eine gut gemeinte Lüge.
So, Master Dugu, have you heard of one by the name of Jur-E?
Sure have. You mean that guy that all the grown-ups are talking about these days? I've heard many tales of jury. For example, I can't remember. Probably because it's nothing that important. I prefer stories about sword-fighting heroes.
Oh, I can completely understand that. Then let me ask you this. Do you remember roughly when the grown-ups started talking about Jur-E?
Oh yeah, I know that. It was about 2 or 3 months ago. Before that, people always used to talk about jury in a kind of nasty tone of voice. But 2 or 3 months ago, suddenly everyone started to like him. Sometimes he gives me candies, so I'm glad that people are starting to like him now.
Just as I thought.
Huh? What do you mean?
I mean, just as I thought, Master Dugu is indeed as kind and virtuous as the legends claim.
I'm not that great. Oh yeah, one other thing. These days, there's a lot of people I've never seen before talking about jury stories in the street. They seem like nice people.
Oh, definitely.
Great! So next time I see them, I'll say hi. And I guess I can share some of my candies with them too.
Certainly. You can also tell my friend in Yenshang Tea House about what they're up to. I'm sure my friend would also like to say hi to them.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Well then, fare thee well, Master Dugu.
Until we meet again.
Der schickt halt echt Leute
Any
rum,
of
ne?
that sounds strange to you?
Ja.
Strange? What was strange about it? Ji seems to have a great reputation. Uncle Soon and Uncle Gas spoke highly of him, and Dugu Shuo seems to like him too.
True. But the issue is, where did his sudden celebrity come from? It almost seems too good to be true.
Sudden? Too good to be true? What do you mean?
So he returns cruelty with kindness and had to work to support his studies. These are the kinds of things that make someone well known in their hometown. But Uncle Soon said even his friends who travel far and wide hear about him wherever they go. Do you remember what Dugu Shuo said about Jur-E's stories? Clearly they left him with a good impression of the guy. But beyond that, he wasn't interested in the details. That's the reaction I would expect from any normal person. Plus, there's the fact that all this praise of Jur-E has only been happening within the last 2 or 3 months. His childhood, his studies, the thing with his neighbor. None of these are recent events. So why are these stories only going around now?
When you put it like that, it is kinda strange.
Of course, if that's all there was to it, I wouldn't look into it any further. Jur-E was born into a poor family. Paying people to get his stories out there is within the rules of the game as far as I'm concerned. The problem is, do you remember what Uncle Gao said about him? He's stayed poor his whole life. Everything he's earned he's either spent on studying, traveling, or paying off debts. I don't think he has the mora to pay for a publicity campaign.
Jemand muss ihm geholfen haben.
Right. And that changes everything. It could mean a powerful faction is trying to gain influence over the Liu Xixing.
Oh, fuck, die Fatui.
That's the worst case scenario. But all too often, the most pessimistic speculation turns out to be closest to the truth.
Someone's trying to gain influence over the Qixing? That sounds serious. What should we do? Even if we asked Juri about it, surely there's no way he'd admit it.
First, we need to find out who's supporting him. Don't worry, I've got a plan. Remember the current affairs and planning stage of the assessment? Since the successful candidate is duty-bound to implement their plan after taking office, their manifesto tells us their stance on key issues. Whoever is secretly helping Jur-E must be seeking to benefit from his actions after his appointment. So, we should be able to find some hints in Jur-E's manifesto on who we're dealing with. Come on, let's get back to Yenshang Tea House.
Oh, pass auf, da steht dann irgendwas drin, besser mit. Ja, das wäre ein bisschen zu offensichtlich. Mit Snesnaya zu interagieren. Irgendwie sowas. Kann man da eigentlich reingehen, wenn der schon da Jelland gehört? Ah ja. Mich wundert es nicht, dass es da Jelland gehört. Hä? Ah, doch da oben. Wow, einen Schritt weiter.
Jur-E's manifesto covers a huge range of topics. Looking for details that don't add up will be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I'll divide the reports into 2 piles. You take one, I'll take the other. When we're finished, we'll put our heads together. Officially, the assessment is already over, and I'll be expected to announce the results before long. So we have to get to the bottom of this as quickly as we can.
Yikes! We better hurry!
Whatever else Uncle Tian might think of Jur-E, the fact remains that he's one of his favorite students. Any evidence he's left is not going to be immediately obvious. We'll have to look carefully and think critically.
Okay.
Even though Yelan took half, this is still a lot to get through. Well, we gotta start somewhere.
Mehr? Meer ist in den letzten Jahren aufgrund einer Reihe von Faktoren stürmischer geworden. Es werden spezielle Patrouillen vorgeschlagen, um die verschiedenen Seeungeheuer zu bekämpfen. Die Flottenaufstellung ist knappe Darstellung der verschiedenen Aspekte der Seeverteidigung. Felsen? Viele Volk sagen etwa, dass Rex Lapis sein Reich in den Bergen von Fliege verloren hat. Ach, sein Reichtum. Aufgrund von Hindernissen, die den Abbau der großen Kluft behindern, wurden jedoch viele Projekte abgesagt. Die Arbeiter der Schwarzsteinschmiede warten schon seit langem in der Nähe der Goldstube. Sobald es einen eigenen Auftrag gibt, sollten sie ihn zuerst bekommen. Kurzer Bericht über verschiedene Themen im Zusammenhang mit dem Bergbau, dem Bau von Tunneln, der Erforschung von Ruinen. Straße. Aufgrund des gebirgigen Geländes des Yuang Steinwaldes und des Qingquin Gipfels ist das Gebiet verkehrstechnisch schlecht angebunden. Die Gipfel sind nur durch Hängebrücken verbunden, die für Menschen gefährlich und für den Transport von Gütern noch ungeeigneter sind. Das Gebiet ist reich an Heilkräutern und Ärzten und es wäre für alle eine große Freude, wenn es eine Umgehungsstraße um den Berg herum gäbe. Bericht über den Plan, der Brücke zu bauen und die Straßen zu befestigen. Ich kann nicht weiterlesen.
All this reading is giving Paimon a headache. Let's take a break.
Looks like I'm the first one back, as usual.
Oh, hey! It's one of Yelan's little helpers, Shanghua! If you're back, that means you finished investigating Tianwei, right?
You betcha. I visited all the commerce guilds and gathered a wealth of information. Every time they asked me to leave, but I always had another trick up my sleeve.
Don't drag this out. Just tell us your findings.
Yes, Lady Yelan. To summarize my findings, most people who've had interactions with Qianwei will start out complaining about how proud and arrogant he is, but then go on to give a generally positive appraisal of him. The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild said that Qianwei appears arrogant, but he's very scrupulous in the way he works. Once he signs a contract with somebody, he treats them fairly regardless of their background.
Who'd have thought?
Is it possible that his reputation is fake? Is there any way you can check the accounts of the businesses under his name?
In theory, that should be very difficult, but here's the thing. I asked around and found out that almost all of Qianwei's accounts are open to the public. Where he buys from and sells to should be confidential business information, but he doesn't seem interested in protecting it at all. Qianwei often sees business opportunities that others don't, but once he's made enough mora off of it, it's like he gets sick of it and releases all of his trade secrets. It's like he wants people to know that they still can't beat him, even if he shares all of his secrets. The fact that someone like that can still make mora is pretty infuriating when you think about it.
What a strange guy. It's like he's not doing business to make mora, but instead...
To validate his theories. No wonder his manifesto contains so many insights. It's all the result of his first-hand experimentation.
I'm back! Huh? How come you're here?
Why do you think? Obviously, because I possess superior skills and am always one step ahead of the competition. Well, when you're the competition, at least.
You... whatever. I'm not getting into an argument with you. If I hadn't had something else to take care of on the way, I would have been back long before you. Lady Yelan, I have finished investigating Minghua.
Well, we're all ears.
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says that Minghua struggles to get his words out when he gets nervous, especially when he's chatting with strangers. But after a few days of getting to know him, you can pretty much have a normal conversation with him. On the whole, the feedback from the Ministry of Civil Affairs was very positive. He always considers the things that everyone else overlooks.
In your opinion, was the Ministry of Civil Affairs' appraisal of Minghua at all exaggerated?
I don't believe so. Minghua is someone who has slowly but surely earned the reputation he has today. According to Miss Yu, the Ministry often gets Minghua to take a final look at projects before they're implemented. People feel much more confident in something if it has his stamp of approval. Oh, and also, there was once someone in the Ministry who was lying and cheating to try to advance their career. Minghua gave them the scolding of a lifetime. Apparently, he can be terrifying when he loses his temper. I haven't seen it for myself, though.
Whoa, that's hard to imagine.
Das hört sich ein bisschen wie bei mir an. Also jetzt nicht das mit den... Alle verlassen sich auf mich, aber... Es dauert lang, bis ich ausflippe, Alter. Aber wenn... Halt scheiße, das ist viel... Also beim Game ist das was anderes. Ignoriert das Gaming. Aber in der Arbeit oder sonst irgendwas. Also wenn ich dann schon jemanden anfahre, Alter, dann muss es schon richtig schlimm sein. War neulich erst der Fall. Weil einer gemeint hat, du musst ständig auf derselben Scheiße rumreiten. Und dann meine Leute ständig blöd anmachen.
Like I said before, things are not always as they appear.
Ah, so that's what you meant by that.
Thank you both. You're free to go now. So, have you finished reading the manifesto?
We still have a bit left.
Du liest den Plan mit Yelan durch.
I can't see any immediate problems looking at the individual entries. The only one that strikes me as a little unusual is the Cheongshu Pool redevelopment plan.
Was ist das?
Cheongshu Pool has always been home to many secrets. Plus, Ajdaha once wrought havoc there, so there are even more secrets buried deep underground. At some point, a rumor began to go around that there is great treasure buried beneath Cheongshu Pool. A long time ago, with the approval of the Qixing, a mining team conducted an exploratory excavation there.
So, did they find any treasure?
None. The ruin was completely impenetrable. The only way they could have gotten through the solid rock would have been by blowing it open with a special kind of explosive. The technology wasn't mature enough at that time, so the excavation project was shut down and the treasure became a mere legend. Jur-E's manifesto focuses on solving problems, and this treasure hunt seems extremely risky. It seems out of step with the rest of his plans. Still, this one fact alone doesn't tell us much. Everyone wants to get their hands on this treasure. The treasure hoarders, the Fatui, even local Liyue factions. Did you find anything?
Excavation, project, treasure? Did we read anything similar in our half of the manifesto?
Die Schwarzsteinschmiede.
Oh yeah! Juri said the Blackcliff Forge workers should get right of first refusal if any suitable projects come up.
Did he now? Well, that makes everything much clearer. So Jur-E wants the Blackcliff Forge to excavate the treasure of Qiyungshu Pool.
Does that mean the Blackcliff Forge is Juri's secret supporter?
No, not likely. I've looked into the Blackcliff Forge before. They aren't involved with any powerful factions at present. They do possess some specialized explosives, but it would seem more trouble than it's worth to put so many resources into a risky project like this. Still, since the clues are pointing toward the Blackcliff Forge, we should see where they lead. We may...
Ups.
Shenwei and Mingbo both turned out to be completely different than what we thought. What about Juri? Is there another side to him too?
Ich sag's mal so, es war zu einfach zu erraten, dass der irgendwie Dreck am Stecken hat oder nicht so rüberkommt. Jetzt beim arroganten Fatzke, ja okay, das war ein bisschen überraschend. Und vor dem Stillen, beziehungsweise vor dem, der wo ein bisschen Probleme beim Reden hat, standen hier immer schon so viele Leute. Das schaut wie ein Ding aus. Läuft da oben Kinder? Und vor dem eher... Oder Mingbo, der wo er eher so schüchtern ist und sowas irgendwas oder ein bisschen Probleme im Reden hat. Der hat ja schon von Anfang an alles ein bisschen mit eingegliedert. Wie die Jelan halt auch gesagt hat mit, er kann sich schlecht, der eine kann sich schlecht einfühlen und alles mit abwägen oder so. Wo ist denn eigentlich dieser Jinx-Tümpel? Das ist doch der mit dem Baum, oder? Nee, das ist das da. Der Baum ist da oben. Sind doch nicht die Schatzräuber schon? Nee, das sind die Hilichur. Da standen da schon immer so viele? Wow! Was zur Hölle? War das schon immer so oder war das nicht schon immer so? Direktorin der Goldstube? Weil... wir porten uns mal auf zum Ding. Weil... Ich meine, wenn ich mich dahin geportet habe, bin ich gleich reingegangen und hab da gleich mich durchgemetzelt. Ist das der Ort, wo die das machen wollen? Das ist doch nicht dieser Tümpel. Ich dachte, das ist hier. Da, Chasing-Tümpel. Ist das mir reden? Aber ich muss mal wegfliegen. Oh. Jetzt treffe ich es.
This is the Blackcliff Forge. Let's look around for clues.
Oh, fertig. Nichts zu dokumentieren, nichts zu dokumentieren. Zahltag 3 neue Mitarbeiter sind hinzugekommen. Ich hatte nicht erwartet, dass neue Leute kommen würden. Einer der Neulinge ist sehr geschickt, dass er zum Teil Teamleiter befördert wurde. Nichts dokumentiert.
What's this? A diary?
From the back, it looks like a ledger, but it seems they also use it as a site log. We don't know who wrote it, but it's interesting, don't you think? These newcomers, who could have sent them?
You think they're suspicious?
Yes. Look, it says right there, one of them's already been promoted to team leader. At this rate, by the time the Qingshu Pool redevelopment plan is ready to roll, they'll be the technical backbone of the team. That'll give them the chance to take a lot of liberties. They can copy any secret texts or steal any treasure they find underground. Imagine if we didn't suspect anything. By the time Jur-E recommends the Blackcliff Forge for the excavation project, at most we would maybe do a fresh background check on the place. No red flags if all they did was change some key staff. And even if we decided to vet the staff individually, they'd have had more than enough time by then to come up with fake identities. That's the advantage of planning this far in advance. It was a clever move.
When you put it like that, it all makes sense. If we hadn't found this out, someone else would have stolen the treasure. So, who's really behind all this?
That's a question for the newcomers. But let's start with that worker over there for now.
Okay, aber das machen wir dann das nächste Mal. Ich bedanke mich an der Stelle fürs Zuschauen und ich hoffe, wir sehen uns dann wieder in der nächsten Folge von Genshin Impact. Macht's gut und Servus.